Hey everyone, welcome back to another adventure. I'm Dustin with Dusty Outdoors, and this week we find ourselves on the eastern half of Wisconsin. We're at a state park called High Cliff State Park. Never been here before. As far as I know, this place has got effigy mounds, it's got old limestone kilns, it's got an old quarry, and a ton of history, and we're gonna get into all of it. We're standing on the edge of the Niagara escarpment, and out there is the largest lake in Wisconsin. Now, before we get this adventure started, I got a couple updates in regards to the truck camper that I want to go over. So hang with me. We'll go through the updates, and then we'll get this adventure started. So here's the major update. For those of you that may be new, didn't see my my post earlier in the week, this shelf used to continue all the way over to here and then come down. And this was a big opening. And it was always just like this blank space that was unusable. And when I'm sitting in here, the camera makes it look further away, but it's just like unusable space right in front of my face. Whereas I wanted more counter space. So we made it into more counter space. Up here's pretty much done. I still have some more work to do down below. So I'm really excited about that. And then I'm also really excited about that. So that is my new central power system to this camper, the VTOMAN Jump 1800. And before we get too far into this adventure, I'm going to let you know, most of you do know already, I've been on the search for a new and bigger power source for quite some time, but I'm not rich and these are expensive. But I did finally find one that I was ready to go ahead and buy because the price per watt hour was right. But I did reach out to the company just as like we'll try it and see what happens. And so I did reach out to VTOMAN, and they did agree to send me this Jump 1800, which, you know, was super nice of them because my channel's tiny. They also sent me this fancy adapter, which allows me to, or anyone if they buy it, to basically charge any power station, not just VTOMAN, but any power station using their solar panel. So this has all these different style plugins for charging, and then it goes into the MC4 connector, I think they're called. Pretty standard connector for solar panels. You can see this is currently sitting at 52% because I've been using it for like 3 days now. So I'm really excited about that. It's gonna allow me to get out into the forests and outdoors for a longer period of time without having to worry about finding somewhere to charge up. And before we get too deep into this adventure, I'm going to go ahead and show you the features on that real quick, how it got delivered. Down here quick and pull it up. It was overpacked nicely, so box looks good, no damage anywhere. So what we got here is the VTOMAN Jump 1800, and it's 1,548 watt hours and 1,800 watt. Now it's got a much higher peak. So this has a 3,600 watt peak. Let's see what all it comes with. Now this is going to over double my power situation. Okay, so right up on top we got some stickers. Okay, we're also got this nice case that it came with. What's in the case? Okay, so it's the power, it's your power cords. You got for plugging into the wall, for plugging into a 12 volt outlet. And you got the user's manual. Let's get into the good stuff though here. Okay. Yeah. Tons of padding on this thing, packaged very nicely. All right, man, I'm excited about this. Now, some of you longtime subscribers know I've been making do with what I had, but I've been wanting a bigger power station for a long time. The dimensions on this, it's 14.2 inches wide, 10.2 inches high, and 12 inches deep. So it also has this light on the back. 3 levels of brightness, strobe, SOS, off. So that was the quick little unboxing of it when I received it. You got 2 inputs, 200 watt outputs. You got all your USB options here with a quick charge one at the bottom And then you got your 12-volt cigarette lighter plug with 2-barrel connector 12-volt plugs as well. This also has a feature, if you include the jumper cable in your purchase, you can plug in right here and jump your vehicle. Now this is the port where if you get the expansion battery to take this from 1500 watts to roughly 3000 watts, this is where you would plug that expansion battery in. It's got pure sine wave technology. You can see there it's 1800 watts on the AC side. The nice thing about the VTOMAN is, well, general rule of thumb, give or take a little bit, is when you're out looking for a portable power station like this, you're going to pay roughly $1 per watt hour. So if you got a 1500 watt portable power station like this one, you can expect to pay around 1500 bucks, give or take a little bit. So like I said, generally you're going to pay around $1 per watt hour. This is 1500 watt hours. It normally goes for around $900 to $1,000 when it's not on sale. With this also having the option of expanding the capacity by getting an expansion battery, which would take this to 3000 watt hours, this would be like the perfect little backup generator for having at your house. It's not going to run your house, but it's going to run all your major appliances. You know, if you had a freezer you had to keep going, or, you know, maybe even an electric heater just to keep you going for a couple hours, or this will run microwaves. It'll run air conditioners that, you know, are within that roughly 1800 watts. The gist of it is, especially with that big storm that has gone through the south and there's many people without power, just simply being able to run some appliances to make food or anything like that, it would be super nice. It's really the best deal I could find, which is why I was interested in it in the first place and was planning to buy one. I also have big plans using this and the future I'm wanting to build a tiny cabin on my dad's property that'll be all off grid. But to build it, I'm going to need some power to charge up all my power tools. So it's just a game changer. I'm most excited about being able to just be off grid in the truck for a longer period of time. There's some really good YouTube videos of people out there putting this VTOMAN Jump 1800 through some pretty rigorous testing, and it works really, really good. There's good safety features in it. And right now, with this being on sale, you're going to get this 1,548 watt hour power station for around 480 bucks. Hey friends, so since filming the video you're currently watching, VTOMAN has started a Valentine's Day sale, which runs till February 27th. So what it means for you guys is the VTOMAN Jump 1800, which is what I have, is on sale currently for $476. If you use my discount code, it'll get you $20 off that, which brings it to $456, which means you're going to get a pretty sizable power station for 30 cents per watt hour. So I just wanted to let you guys know that. If you're in the market for one or interested in one or want to get something to keep at the house just for some backup power, check out my link. And they're also doing some other things with that Valentine's Day sale. Based off the size of your order, you can get some more free stuff. I'm not going to go through all that, but all that info will be in the description. It's not going to hurt you to check it out if you're in the market for something like that. Thanks, guys. With all that being said, I'm going to keep all of you in the loop on how this thing continues to work for me. I've had this for a while now. Like I mentioned in my post, my last video was just a couple of weeks ago. It's been a little bit over a month since I made a video. So we've been making changes to the camper. I've been using the VTOMAN throughout those changes as my power source for my tools and all that. Like I said, I've been out on the road for about 3 days at this point. I'm at 52% right now, and I have no worries whatsoever that I'll be able to run my heat, charge all my stuff, run the lights with what's remaining in that, and probably have some left over in the morning. With all that being said, I'm here at Indian Mound Trail, and I'm about to see if we can find some Indian mounds. All right, so it says over 1,000 years ago, prehistoric people built mounds, hunted, fished, and gathered nature's bounty on this land. Now you can walk in the footsteps of the effigy mound builders and learn how they lived. Please take your time and enjoy this 1-mile loop. Today, modern descendants regard mounds as both sacred ancestral burial places and spiritual centers to honor their beliefs. Please treat mound areas with care and respect. Mounds are protected by state law. Sadly, with all the snow on the ground, it's hard to tell what trail I'm actually supposed to be on. I'm on a pretty packed one right now, which I think is correct. But there's must be where people are taking shortcuts often, and it just makes it confusing. Well, this is not an effigy mound, but it is a pretty cool structure I found. We got 3 big stick structures. And we've seen something similar to this before at Pikes Peak State Park in Iowa. That one's since became a little decrepit with logging and stuff going on around it, but those were not built by the Native Americans. The mound builders sought shelter from wind and cold in rock overhangs and several kinds of houses. Some houses resemble the wigwams that would later be built during the historic period by the Winnebago. Though there are similarities between the artifacts of the two tribes, the mound building phase ceased long before the historic period, which began with the arrival of Jean Nicolet in 1634. Over here it says, a Winnebago wigwam had a dirt floor and a pole framework covered with bark and woven mats. I still haven't seen any obvious mounds though, but there was just a sign right there that says do not walk on the mounds. We're entering for sure the area where the mounds are now. All right, here's one. It's going to be very hard to see on camera, unfortunately, but this is called Panther Mound. So right out there, we got the back of it here. It's very hard to see, but there's a leg and then the whole torso of it. And then right here is the front leg, and then right there is the head. All right, so the first Panther Mound was right over there. Here we got another one. I sure hope you guys can at least see where it is a little bit. It's another Panther Mound. I think they must be all Panther Mounds here. If I go down, hopefully you can see where it's raised up kind of. Here's another Panther Mound. You got a leg and then another leg, and the body's here, I'm guessing. I'm assuming they're supposed to resemble a panther, at least part of them are. And I can definitely see where there's some legs and a torso, but all of them have had this long, it must be the tail. I mean, now that I think about it, that's obviously the tail. What else would be long like that? That might be it. That might be it on this section of trail. It's getting a little later here in the afternoon. Of course, during the winter, we don't have very much daylight. And I would definitely still like to check out those limestone kilns, which we'd have to get back to the truck and drive a little bit further south in the park. This appears to be another mound here. A long, straight one. This has no mound sign by it, but it does have information kiosk. Mound construction, how did they build them? The mound builders constructed these mounds between 1,000 and 1,500 years ago. Mounds were only built at certain times of the year, usually in late spring. To build them, mound builders removed leaves and stems from the ground in exactly the size and shape of the mound they wished to build. Then they used baskets made of birch and elm bark to carry soil and heap it in piles up to 4 feet high over whatever they were burying. Finally, they shaped the mound into its desired form. That's cool. It is quite brisk out here, and it makes it a little hard to read and talk because my lips don't want to work too well. We have had just basically 3 weeks of back back-to-back polar air coming down out of Canada. A couple weeks ago we had negative 40 and negative 50 feels like temperatures, and this week is not nearly that bad, but we're struggling to hit 20 degrees for the high during the day, and at night it's like right around 0 degrees Fahrenheit. Sure enough, that long one, it does have a mound sign by it down here a little further. Okay, so this is basically the other end of this long mound here, but there's a conical mound right there, which is like circle. Yeah, so here, this is the first one we saw, second and third. So I think I was right in that those are just super long tails on those panthers. Here's that long one. These are all considered panther mounds, except for these round ones, which are conical. Archaeologists speculate that people from the late woodland period, 1,000 to 1,500 years ago, built these mounds over many years, perhaps even hundreds of years. Current thinking suggests that the whole grouping of mounds had a broad meaning, such as to indicate the territory of a family band, to mark important astronomical events, or to communicate to a clan or ancestor. Some suggest they represent a ritual to honor the earth. In addition, each individual mound likely had its own spiritual meaning. This panther is thought to represent a water spirit. The panther is the most common and largest shape in this grouping of mounds. The mounds on this trail are all that remain of the 27 mounds that once existed between here and the lookout tower. The mounds were destroyed by the quarry operation and other developments before the park's creation in 1957. Well, that's too bad that a bunch of them got destroyed. Oh, this is a lineal mound. This one. Most mounds contain burial remains. Mound builders buried their dead in spring and summer when the ground was soft. They buried those who died at the time of mound construction, as well as the bones of those who died over the winter. In winter, when the ground was too frozen for burial, the bodies were likely placed on elevated platforms until decomposition was complete. In spring, tribal members gathered the bones into a bundle and buried them in the mound. Here we are, looking off. A little hard to see here, but that is Lake Winnebago, and we're at the far northern point of it, so you can kind of see how this kind of wraps around and then heads back down. So right there would be the northern point, and you can see all these rock outcroppings, and they're like layered straight. We're standing on the rest of it, all this. That is, and we are standing on the Niagara escarpment, which is just a giant geological feature. And yes, it is the same escarpment that the Niagara Falls between Canada and the US flows over. And here I am in east central Wisconsin, basically standing on the same rock. So throughout my YouTube channel, we have been to several areas, including up in the UP, Door County, here next to Lake Winnebago, and there's several other places I haven't been to yet that are all part of the Niagara escarpment. I'm thinking those are people sitting out there ice fishing. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think so. I might be. Those might be something else. That little hut on a wagon out there again. That's a vehicle. That's like an SUV or something. Crazy. There's the rig down there. So that's apparently a 1 mile loop. It did not feel like it though. I know 1 mile's not long, but it's not exactly short either, you know, for a lot of us. We're gonna get back to the truck and see if we can still make it over to the limestone kilns. Pretty sure it's limestone anyways. It's a kiln for sure. My goodness, look at the salt on that thing. Makes me sad. All right, we made it to the kiln. Looks like it's fenced off, but we should be able to still get a good view of it. Hopefully there's some information on it. My battery on my GoPro, man, when it's cold out like this, it's probably about between 12 and 15 degrees right now. It's just a struggle to keep these batteries in the GoPro charged up. And then even when you do try to charge them, just from having the camera out in the cold, the batteries are so cold they won't take a charge. Winter filming, the struggle. All right, check that out. That's got to be 60 foot from where I'm standing. It starts a little higher up from where I am. I bet that's still 60 foot though. Wow, this is cool. So this one you can basically get right to. Truck's right there. Lime kiln ruins. Yeah, there we go. This was once a site of a thriving lime-producing business known as Western Lime and Cement Company. From beginning to end, production here lasted approximately 100 years. From 1856 to 1956, all that remains today are the skeletons of the 3 kilns in front of you. The kilns were heated to a temperature of around 2,200 degrees Fahrenheit to turn out a white powdery substance known as quicklime. Heaps of waste lime are still present on the hill behind you. Wood fueled the kilns until the supply of trees on the edge was depleted. Coal was later used. Quicklime was barreled and bagged in the copper shop, the brick structure located to your right. Product was then loaded into barges and rail cars for shipment across Wisconsin. Good quality lime was used in plaster, cement, and for agricultural purposes. Poor quality rock was sent to the crusher to be made into gravel. If you travel east along the lime kiln trail, you can still see the remains of the foundation for the gyrating crusher. So that's where it was bagged. Every time I visit some place like that, I wish I could go into a portal and be like a fly on one of these trees back when it was in its heyday and just kind of see what it looked like and see the people working. Now, we got some more good info here on the big lake that we're next to. Lake Winnebago. This is Wisconsin's largest inland lake. Thousands of years. It's 132,000 acres of open water, 88 miles of shoreline, and outstanding natural resources have attracted people. The Ho-Chunk called this lake Hukak-T-Sarek, which means Ho-Chunk Lake Long. So you can see here where we are. This is the north side. This is the south side. It's 30 miles long, 10 miles across. From this point to Oshkosh is 16 miles. And from right here where we're standing, if we look straight across to the shore over there, that's 7.5 miles. And there's the basins that drain into it. Wolf River Basin and Upper Fox River Basin. Cool stuff. So something kind of neat that I'm noticing is I'm pretty sure that this road we're on here and that way, I'm pretty sure it's the old railroad bed. That would have serviced this kiln. All up here, which we kind of have to drive down through that based off all the different levels of shelves and stuff, which I thought at first was maybe part of the Niagara escarpment, but there's not really shelves on the escarpment. It is a flat chunk of rock. So I'm thinking that's like the quarry, just remains of the old quarry and different levels of the quarry. Well, I'm switching over to my phone for this little jaunt to give the GoPro a chance to get those batteries charged up. We're on what I think is called Redbird Trail. I've seen this trail, crossed paths with it a few times now. It says on the map it shows Redbird statue. I don't know if it's like an actual bird or if this is like maybe a Native American called Redbird, but we'll find out. Alright, well, it is in fact a Native American. Alright, let's read this. Redbird, chief of the Winnebagos, a distinguished Wisconsin Indian in authentic tribal costume of 1827. Designed by Adolph E. Seebach, executed by Sculpture House, New York, erected and presented by Bantz Company Foundation, 1961. So that would have been Chief Redbird, 1827. And here's the view Chief Redbird has. That is the northernmost point of Lake Winnebago. And then it goes that way for 30 miles. Alright. One last thing I'd like to do while we're right here in this portion of the park is see if the lookout tower is open. Oh, we made it to the top. There's the big, beautiful Lake Winnebago. Alright, back at the campsite. I got the diesel heater going so it can start getting warm in here. We gotta go out and get the fire started. I'm gonna do some good old-fashioned hot dogs over the fire because I was craving it, and I saw some double cheddar hot dogs and they just sounded delicious. So. Oh, it's so nice to have this counter spot. So while the fire gets going out there, we'll just prep a couple buns, get a couple weenies out. We'll go cook those weenies over the fire and bring them back in here. Otherwise they'll just get super cold right off the bat. My fingers don't even want to work. Here we got some Johnsonville double cheddar smoked sausage. Oh, I bet that's gonna be good. The more cheese, I'd like to have a little brat with my cheese, not the other way around where it's a little cheese with my brat. I'm from Wisconsin. All right, let's go roast these suckers. I don't know if you can hear that or not, but there's some like raccoons fighting or something. Oh yeah. I could see him in the silhouette of the tree. You can just barely see. See all the silhouettes of the trees? I just saw it climbing down one of the branches. Look at that cheese. They're probably not as warm as I'd like them yet, but I was getting hungry. All right, there we go. So my plan here with this table, with this new counter, is I want to do like an under-mounted slide system so I can slide out a little table right here. But haven't exactly gone through all the deets of that yet in my head. Some of you new subscribers might be wondering if the camper is broke or the top don't go up or something. Everything works on it, just in the winter time, especially when it's for sure below like 25, 30 degrees, which right now it's closer to like 12 degrees. I keep the top down because it's a lot less area to try to heat. And all the hard walls and roof have at least a little bit of insulation in them, and the canvas around the top has zero insulation. You know, I started this channel in a topper, just in the bed of my truck. So this is way more room than even that, even with the top down. Look at the cheese in that. Well, those sausages were pretty good. I'm just gonna have a little salad for dessert, and then we'll go out and sit by the fire. Oh yeah, the fire's going good now. It's putting off good heat. I've been out here standing by the fire for a while now. It's pretty cold. The fire's putting off decent heat, but not too much. But as I'm standing here, you can kind of see out there, I think I want to walk over to the edge of the escarpment over here, overlooking the lake. It's right behind my campsite. And see, it looks like you can probably see at least part of the town of Appleton on the across the lake there. And right here's a little offshoot out to where I actually started the video. I was hoping we could see Oshkosh too, but we can't. Here, let me get my phone out so we can zoom in. There's an airplane. You can see flashing there. Looks like it's going in for a landing in Appleton. Unfortunately, you can't see Oshkosh from here. So right there is the edge of the escarpment. You certainly wouldn't want to fall down that. That next rock down there is probably 30 feet down, and then it's another 15 probably. Okie dokie, we're back in the camper. It's nice and warm in here. We're gonna go ahead and plug my computer in. Yeah, the computer went into its power saving mode. Battery's getting low, so. Like I said, this is kind of ugly right now with all the cords, but I just don't have this power station cubby completely finished yet, and that's okay. Everything's working, everything's charging. By the way, VTOMAN did not give me like a script to say. They just sent it to me, and they really didn't ask for anything other than just an honest review, and if there was anything that could be improved on or I didn't like about it, to let them know, and they would, because they're always working on improving. Yeah, so far I don't have any complaints with it. Charges fast. I mean, it takes longer to charge than my old one, but literally 3 times the capacity, so that's to be expected. I'm gonna call Lauren, chat with her for a little bit, and then go to bed. Good night, y'all. Good morning. As you can see, it snowed overnight. Not much. A dusting, I would say. Maybe about a 1/4 inch. I do feel like it's a little warmer today than it was yesterday, but it's also more breezy. I want to go out and see what the lake looks like. Probably very similar to what it did yesterday, but you never know. Looks like there's at least one person that was on a morning walk this morning. It's definitely more gloomy out, for sure. High Cliff State Park outside of Appleton. I recommend it. I don't know what it's like in the summer, probably very busy, but it was definitely a nice park to visit in the winter. The kilns were really cool. I love that kind of stuff. Same with the effigy mounds. It's kind of neat that you can go to many different areas in the Midwest and even over towards New York, up in Canada, and stand on this same rock shelf known as the Niagara escarpment. That's really cool. If you guys look it up online, you'll see that it's just like this big arc that goes kind of right through the Great Lakes area. And it's mainly, I think I remember it was mainly limestone and dolomite maybe, or something like that. It's just not eroding as quickly as everything around it, obviously. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you guys are in the market for a power station, give VTOMAN a check. If you do decide to check out a Jump 1800 by VTOMAN, use my discount code, might as well. I don't get anything from it, but you'll save money. And I would definitely disclose if I made money on that, but I don't. It's just something they're doing for you guys as my viewers. Let me know your favorite part of this park. Let me know what you think of the new countertop area that I made. I think I want to put a coffee maker in there, kind of permanently, because I do have the power to run a coffee maker now and not like waste power, if you know what I mean. Also, I will say I still do have just a handful of stickers left. If that's something you're interested in, link will be in the description. To the military men and women, past, present, future, thank you for your service. Thank you for my freedom, and we'll see you on the next adventure. Bye, friends.